It's getting painful, it is. Watching these world leaders grovel, or expecting others to grovel to them, and then they pass it on to the Saudi prince. Grovel, grovel, grovel. It's like having a fucking pineapple shoved up your chocolate starfish on a daily basis. It is. It's, like I say, it's painful. I'm watching Keir Starmer trying to, how to put it, make out that all of a sudden he's holding all the cards. Well, now he's got a fucking chaff deck that he has with the European Union. It's painful. See, the UK's got a little bit of growth. Tiny, tiny little bit of growth. And all of a sudden, it's all good. We can stand up to the European Union now because we've got a little bit of growth. Without realising that the European Union is a massive trading bloc of 450 million people, more than the United States. And that doesn't include the extended economic area. No. A massive trading bloc. The UK's little tiny 2.7 trillion in GDP to the European Union's 17, 18 odd trillion GDP. Of course we ain't got the feckin' power to dictate what we want with the European Union. The European Union's just giving us lip service. Of course they are. They don't have to give us anything, quite frankly. And now they're extending, or so has been suggested by, the Netherlands or by the Netherlands for the rest of the European Union, that the veterinary requirements should be extended. You see, we were getting very close to having some kind of arrangement with the European Union. But no. It's not much better than Donald Trump and his tariff deal with China. No, it's just all smoke and mirrors. That's all it is, smoke and mirrors. They're playing a game, a dangerous game with people's lives. Now the UK fishermen, they clearly do not want the European Union to be able, fishermen in the member states, to have any more access to UK fishing waters and increasing the quotas. You could argue that you could understand why. Of course you can. But is it a bargaining chip with everything else that could be positively gained for the United Kingdom, such as much reduced red tape, which affects all our industries trading with the European Union? But no. Keir Starmer's doing a Boris, digging his heels in about fishing. Tiny, tiny proportion of the UK's economy. Always was. And besides, Brexit has already destroyed our fishing industry. British fishermen have had to destroy their boats so they could get their compensation payments. They had to physically cut them up. Destroy them. They don't need to fish, they haven't got the fishermen. They just haven't. There's not much to protect. The fishmongers and the trade and what have you, and merchants, they're a fraction of what they once were. Ask Ian Perks, who was a fish merchant who voted for Brexit. Even he says, I wish we didn't vote for Brexit. I made a mistake. I hold my hands up, he said. But he did vote for Brexit. Just like a whole load of more numpties who voted for Brexit. And when I see articles like this, that the EU and the UK are loggerheads over fishing rights and youth mobility. For Christ's sake, youth mobility is a no-brainer for the United Kingdom and for the European Union. They want it, and so should we. If we want to allow our universities to carry on operating so we can have educated people, we don't want any more MAGAs. No, we don't want them all, Brexiteer numpties who clearly don't have a brain cell. They might have one, just for motor function, if you know what I mean. Otherwise they'd be dead, wouldn't they? Of course. Well, that's a thought. So, the thing is, you see, if we don't negotiate this, we are in the same quagmire we've been in ever since the end of the transition period. Desperately trying to trade with the European Union, costing huge amounts of money just for every single shipment, plus the fact that we are charging for these shipments as well. There's fees involved per pallet, making it very difficult for us, very difficult for British businesses, and we wonder why we're struggling to get growth. Yes, like I say, we have a little tiny bit of growth, but it's tiny. Now, the United States, the pandemic, their growth went, full on, didn't it? You know, they were doing very well. They were the envy of the world. And then they voted for Donald Trump for some bizarre, strange, unknown reason. And now your economy in the United States is dead in the water too, just like ours. Actually worse. See, that's what happens when you rock the boat, people fall off. And it's always the people at the bottom who fall off first. Because they're the ones who haven't got the cushion, they haven't got the soft wad of money to sit on. Like the rich bastards. No. So while this goes on, the United Kingdom is going to be, well, in the name of Nigel Farage, spiralling the plug hole, so to speak. Because that's what we've been doing. We've been battling bloody hard, we have, trying not to go down the plug hole. Unless we soften our stance and realise that we are not as powerful as we like to think that we are. That we are a tiny 67 million people in comparison to the EU's 450 million odd people to trade with. Western people have less, poverty than you would get in third countries, African countries, for instance. A lot of poverty. India, for instance, a lot of poverty. China, a lot of poverty. There's the rich and the poor, and the gap, okay, it's shrunk a little bit, but it's still there. People struggle. And yet we're trying to get trade deals with these people. Keir Starmer's done the right thing. He's currently in talks with the Albanian president to try and, return deals regarding failed asylum processes and stuff, asylum attempts, and trade on on weapons and military vehicles, etc., etc. That makes a lot of sense. I get that. Of course it does. But it's never going to replace our trade that we rely on heavily with the European Union. It just won't. It's our nearest and dearest trading partner, yet we poked them all in the eye. We told them that we don't like you anymore because you're Europeans, you're not British. Because of the racist bastards that we have in the UK. And there's plenty of them. They're still there. They came out from under their stone when they heard the cry from Nigel Farage. And then he had the fishermen, who also followed him when they heard his cry. Oh, look after, you see, I'm on the committee and European Union, I'm an MEP. He went to one meeting for the fishing industry in the European Union. One. And yet he professes that he cares about the fishermen. There he went in his old flotilla chucking fish back into the Thames for some unknown bizarre reason, because he's a fucking lunatic. And the people who follow him are also fucking lunatics. People who voted for Brexit are fucking lunatics. I just say as I say it. If you do stupid is as stupid does. You're fucking stupid. Sorry. Just like MAGA. You see, there's no bringing these people back. There isn't. There's no turning these people to the light, so to speak. They're lost. The only way they're ever going to change their minds is they're going to have to do it on their own, when they feel the pain that they've caused themselves. Just telling them that, we're not so bad after all, come over here, we'll look after you. They're not interested. They're full of hate. They're hating on the same people who they are. Ordinary folk are just trying to get on with their lives, just like they are. But they're hating on them. Well, I have got no sympathy with them. I'm sorry. I don't think they could be won back. And Keir Starmer, using terms like an island of strangers, Enoch Powell tropes, is not going to help. It's not going to turn these people around. Just like the MAGA in the United States, these people are lost. They will only come full circle when they start feeling the pain. And I've said this for years on this channel. You won't change their mind until they feel the pain. You might be able to turn one or two, but the odds are against you. There's just too many of them. And now Keir Starmer's managed to lose them all to bloody reform, the Labour voters, because Keir Starmer's pretty much, done stuff actually that they profess they want to do now. It doesn't make any sense. It's almost like the people they're hating on, what needs to be done to actually hate on them more actually affects them as well. And then they say, I don't mean you. No, you're right, I don't mean you. It's the others. Well, they all end up being treated the same, you see. When you have a global, a national response to a situation, just like what's happening in the United States with immigration and cosplay Christy Nome standing there in a committee meeting and literally not telling you anything at all. Just lying. Constant lies. Dancing around on the head of a pin. Same with the Health Secretary, Bobby Kennedy, Bobby Brainworm. Same with Donald Trump. They don't actually tell you anything. They just dance around on the head of a pin. And Donald Trump, he's crypto. I think the crypto's got to his head. Because anyway, he's got a bit cryptic. I can't understand what he's trying to say half the bloody time. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's madness. Unfortunately, I don't suffer fools, okay? And unfortunately, we're all suffering fools. These people are fools. Ignorant people. And that's why we must educate people. People need to be educated. We can tell them as much as we like, we can explain to them, but it can't come from, we can try, and we shouldn't give up. But they ain't listening to us. I've tried to be nice in the past. It doesn't work. You don't bring anyone around. They just follow the hate. It's like the Pied Piper of hate. Vicious hate. Not just name-calling and stuff. I mean real vicious stuff. Like wanting people to drown in the channel instead of landing at Dover. That's the level of hate we've got. And that's the level of hate we've got from that crikey domes geezer from Great Yarmouth who threatened he threatened Nigel Farage. That he did. I don't see a solution as it stands until people are literally flat on their faces, dragging their way through the feckin' mud, scratching for the latest scratching just so they can actually get that loaf of bread. Got to feel the pain. And maybe, just maybe, what the United Kingdom needs, just like the United States at the moment with Donald Trump absolutely destroying everything, and the support is turning on him. If there was another election, you wouldn't get in again. Maybe that's what we need. For the people of the United Kingdom to wake up. Maybe we need Nigel Farage as the Prime Minister. We need an extremely incompetent leader to destroy everything in the UK, just so we can start again, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Maybe that is what's needed. Just put it out there. I'm not saying that's what I want, but you know. Crikey. But it's desperate though, isn't it? It is desperate. You tell me. Is it desperate? Because I think it is. Is he the solution? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. How are we going to bring these people back on side? Willingly. How are we going to get them to wake up? How are we going to get them to wake up? It's not woke. It's not trans people. It's certainly not the immigrants. It's the rich feckers. It's the feckin' billionaires out there. They're the ones that we should be standing up against. It is the Elon Musks, etc., etc. They are the people we should be standing up against because they are bleeding us dry. And yet we blame the immigrants. Over a few million quid here and a few million quid there. Whereas these billionaires, these oligarchs, are literally bleeding us dry. Literally. Bernie Sanders is right. Until we get rid of these people, or put them back in their box, spread their wealth, by force if we have to, ordinary people are not going to get by. It's the ordinary people that are doing the slog, doing the grind, doing the hard graft, like the fishermen, like the farmers, like all these people who voted for Brexit, like those people who voted for MAGA, who are struggling, and they thought the solution was somebody like Donald Trump or somebody like Nigel Farage, who isn't. These are incompetent people who don't understand nuance, let alone anything else. Well, we need that worm to turn, and turn fast, that we do. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please leave it in the comments down below. Toodaloo.